Hi there, it's the Cannastrologer. My name is Abby, and this is a special edition tarot sesh for the General Collective. And I've been MIA for a couple days. I fell ill and lost my voice, which it's still healing. But in that time, we were also experiencing one of the longest government shutdowns that we've had in history here in the United States for my international viewers. And it was just a bill was just passed in Congress to lift that shutdown, but unfortunately, it was only passed due to the demise of the hemp industry. Now, hemp, which is different from the cannabis industry, but what the scary part about this is that they are setting up a standard and basically, next steps for targeting the cannabis industry, and they're working towards rescheduling cannabis to a Schedule 3. And it should just be descheduled, just like, tobacco and alcohol here in the state. So long story short, we've got a huge fight ahead of us. It's a huge, just disappointment for everybody who believes in plant medicine. And, this hurts lives. This hurts people. And there's hundreds of thousands of jobs that are on the line and businesses that are looking at, major losses here. And so it's like a $30 billion industry that has been effectively shut down overnight, all because one of the senators, Mitch McConnell, took a $900,000 bribe from lobbyists and got greedy with the money and shut us all down. So I decided that I wanted to do a tarot reading, that we're going to dive in and look at, one, what can we do about this? Two, will this be overturned through reform and or whatever, spirit says that, we can do to fight this? And then three, what will be the outcome? So we're calling in our spirits for higher peace, power, protection, and prosperity for the greater good, so mote it be. Let's see what we have for the General Collective. I'm going to be using the Daily Pot Tarot cards, my Metaphysical Cannabis Oracle, my Cannabis is Medicine, and then we're going to be clarifying with the Meaning Tarot. Let's get into this. Spirits, what can we do? What can we do? Thank you. We've got the Magician. So the Magician tells us that we already have all the tools that we need. It's about power. It's about manifestation. It's about focus and action, taking action. This is a card where you're working with all of the elements. It's a great card of communication and also intellect. It's about very precise action as well. And what's really interesting, what's really stinking interesting, is that the Magician card is ruled by planet Mercury. We are currently under Mercury retrograde right now. So the fact that this card fell out does not surprise me. Mercury retrograde is when everything seems like it's backwards, like it's, upside down. Mercury retrograde ends November 29th. We'll have 2 weeks of the post shadow afterwards, before we start to feel like, it's moving in the right direction again. So, but for right now, I feel like this is a time of confusion and stagnancy that it seems, but it's also a time of action and willpower and manifestation and figuring out what our next steps are going to be. We can make this happen, is what I'm getting from this. We can make this happen, because if you look at this card, what comes around goes around, right? What comes around goes around, karma included. And that's the message to the government. All right, so will it be overturned? Will this be overturned? Whether it's state by state, federally, will this be overturned? Oh my goodness, okay. So 3 cards fell out. So we start out with the 3 of Swords. This is heartbreak. This is when somebody is truly broke your heart. It's about disappointment and pain. I feel like there will be losses. There's going to be a lot of disappointment in regards to this. However, then we have the Fool card, which is one of the luckiest cards in the deck. The Fool is all about new beginnings. It's about faith in the future, believing in the universe. It's also a card about being inexperienced, because, when you're starting out new with something, you don't always, have the experience or knowing what's ahead, but it's also about adventure and spontaneity. So this is Uranus energy, Aquarius, Aries, zodiac signs that are associated with this, but I feel like this will end. This will end with the 10 of Wands. Now, 10s are endings, but they're also new beginnings, because 1 + 0 = 1. And Wands, or joints, are all about passion and passionate energy. So it's so the 10 of Wands also is a card of heavy burdens and responsibility. It's where people feel, overwhelmed, or like there's an overload of responsibility, but it's also the end of a hard project or situation. So I feel like there is going to be an ending to this. It will not come without a lot of upset and heartbreak, but we do see a new beginning in this, okay? So will it be overturned? I honestly think so. And if not overturned completely, burdens will be lifted. There will be some type of new beginning. All right, so what's the outcome, spirits? What's the outcome? Thank you. We have the Queen of Buds, which is the Queen of Pentacles. This is somebody who is very good at balancing work-life balance. Somebody who is focused on money and focused on material gain, but also really mindful of how that balances out with house and home and, everybody around them. And underneath it, you guys, underneath the deck, we have the Justice card. So the Justice card is Libra energy. This talks about balance and fairness. It's also karma. One person's karma is another person's justice and vice versa. It's about truth and accountability, also law, legal matters, and decision making. So there's definitely going to be some major decisions being made. I do feel that this is going to be balanced out, but it's not without a lot of fighting. It's not without this like heavy burden, responsibility, heartbreak after everything that's been happening. I haven't seen the devil come out. I haven't seen the devil at all because that is indicative of toxicity and more evil powers at play. But I feel like there will be justice in this situation. And we do have a favorable and financially favorable outcome with this Queen of Buds, Queen of Pentacles. Let's get some clarification. I'd like to clarify that Magician, please. What can we do to clarify the Magician? What can we do as a general collective and clarify this Magician, please? Look at that. We have the 10 of Wands again. So this is letting go of heavy burdens. What can we do? So there's always another way to do something. Okay, so it's like everything is figure outable. And with the Magician energy, again, this is telling me that we have all the resources that we need. We just have to figure out a different route, a different solution, a different strategy. Because again, the 10 of Wands is all about burden and responsibility. It's about stress and blockages. But it's like when one door closes, another door opens. So I'm hearing loophole. There's where people were saying that the 2018 Farm Bill was a loophole. There's another loophole. There's going to be another loophole. The Magician is also a very highly spiritual card. It could have something to do with spirituality. The loophole could be something spiritual. Yeah, because it's putting excessive pressure on an entire industry, an entire group of people. So now let's clarify the 3 of Swords with the Fool and the 10 of Wands, please. This heavy burden, but new beginning. Will this be overturned? Let's clarify this, please. We have the Page of Wands. Keep your eye on your goals and enjoy every moment. So this is a card of courage and bravery. It's also a card of excitement. People, it's like the energy of free spirit. Somebody who has a love of life, who's very enthusiastic about discovery. It's a card of balancing priorities and decisions, duality, and settling energy. So as far as, will it be overturned? Again, I feel yes, it will. But somebody is at the very beginning. I mean, not just somebody, it's our entire industry, is at the beginning of a whole new journey. It's like turning over a whole new leaf, literally and figuratively. And we're going to have to start from scratch at some point. And when I say from scratch, I mean I'm talking about language behind laws and structures and reform. But I do see a new beginning. I see 2 cards show me well, technically 3 cards show me new beginning. But you have to keep your eye on the goals and, put your best foot forward. Enjoy every moment as you're fighting the good fight. So now let's clarify the outcome. What is the Queen of Buds? What is the Queen of Buds for the outcome? Oh, okay, so 2 cards just flipped over. We've got, so we have the 2 of Swords. This is making a decision. It's listening to your inner voice when making choices because there's some type of a stall or indecision, strength through suffering, but peace will be restored, okay? The card indicates a stalemate, and it could feel like a stalemate right now in this current energy, but, as far as outcome looking into the future, somebody's going to be walking away from something with the 8 of Cups. That's the next card. However, so with the 8 of Cups, when you walk away from something, you're walking towards something better. And this is a card of making your decisions and then taking action with confidence. It's a card of change, of journey. There could be a feeling of dissatisfaction and separation from government, law, separation from, the rest of the industry. But again, I see this paired with this Queen of Buds card. What I'm feeling like is, the Queen of Pentacles, she's very fortuitous. She's, all about business and financial gain and material things, right? There's going to be decisions that need to be made and certain things that we're going to have to walk away from. There's going to be things that we're going to have to concede in order to get what we want. Ultimately, I do see a favorable outcome, but it's not without a battle, not without a hard journey, a fight, right? But, when making these decisions with the Two of Swords, it's, confidently moving forward and moving on with that Eight of Cups energy. So, clarifying the Justice card at the bottom of the deck, we've got the Seven of Pentacles. This is all about looking back on what you've achieved and then setting new goals. This is a card of planning, progress, perseverance, diligence, reflection, necessity, and remembering. Remembering where we came from. Remembering how far we've came just to get to where we, got to, right? Earth energy, Taurus energy, which makes a lot of sense when we're talking about, when we're talking about plant medicine. Behind that, we've got the Nine of Wands. That's the wounded warrior energy, but that's believing in yourself and having the courage to continue. And behind that is the Nine of Cups, and that's wish fulfillment. Behind that is the Six of Pentacles, balancing things out. So do I see a favorable outcome? Empress behind that, yes. Yes, I see a favorable outcome. But you guys, I mean, as much as I hate to say it, it's going to be a long journey ahead. We've got 363 days at this point for us to, figure out a new plan, figure out a new path, new legislation, new reform, whether it's state by state or federally. But, with that Justice card and the Chariot behind it, this is talking about willpower, determination, self-discipline, and balance, balance and legal law. So it's fighting the good fight for sure. So, okay, now let's get into the Metaphysical Cannabis Oracle deck and see what we have for our general collective. What do we have for our hemp industry general collective, please? What are we looking at for this awful, awful hemp ban? Okay, underneath the deck, we've got abracadabra. I'm sorry, I was going to say abracadabra. It's Arziki-dabaron, and it's all about gratitude, having the attitude of gratitude, okay? Being grateful for what we have now, how far we've came up to this point, and being grateful for what is yet to come, okay? Top of the deck, main message, we've got, you guys, I love this, freedom. Okay, we have the freedom card. Look how she's holding up the cannabis leaf or the hemp leaf, up to the disco ball that looks like a moon. People are partying, people are celebrating. This talks about having the freedom of choice. And when I see that, and looking at the Justice card, justice and freedom, again, it's going to be a long journey, and we do have to take action, but we have Rye, freedom coming in. So let me find this in the deck here. Okay, so Vry allows you to merge with the innocence that surrounds you. Every new encounter is an experience that brings the potential to restore the unshakable faith that you held as a child when freedom was never an afterthought. Vry dances freely under a disco ball on the dance floor, uninhibited because she believes in the spirit of things happening for her highest good. Here is the freedom to trust yourself before someone makes you doubt yourself. The past cannot be changed, so she dances in the present while creating her future with a smile on her face. The dog dances beside her as a symbol of protection. Vry holds a cannabis leaf in one hand, which represents her open heart and innocence. From her other hand, a streaming pillar of light emerges like a wand. So this card arrives when the veil begins to lift and your biocomputer begins to deprogram with the cannabis plant's spirit's guidance. If you receive Rye in a reading, ask yourself, what's the best thing that can happen today? How does it get any better than this? Am I afraid to ask for what I want because of the risk of rejection or denial? Release fear and believe in your higher self. The higher plant spirit is guiding you not to fail. So, Spirit saying, what's the worst that can happen? Well, the worst has already happened. We just had our hemp industry taken from us, right? So now all we have to do is fight. I'm hearing fight for your right, right? It's fight for our right to move forward towards reform, and making it even better than what we had before. Tightening up those laws, legalization, the loopholes, and, making sure that we have the right policies intact in order to move forward. Okay, so now last but not least, let's get our cannabis as medicine. Oracle, what do we have for that popped right out? Okay. We've got sativa. I am energized and creative. So sativa can offer an energetic heady high. It is best known for treating depression and promoting creativity and sociability. What's funny about this card is, one of the whole reasons or said reasons behind this hemp ban was the intoxicating THC, the intoxicating head high that, people were getting from, having over 0.3% THC, within hemp. the hemp plant or hemp solutions or whatever it is. So sativa is, a form of cannabis. And obviously, this is talking more about THC, but the main message is that, you're energized and creative. And we're needing a energetic and creative solution to figuring out how to get through this, right? Spirit is saying this could be a spiritual, creative solution. Okay, it could have a lot to do with spirituality. It also could have a lot to do with getting spiritual within oneself and just having that faith, that trust in the universe that things are going to turn in our favor. But it won't turn in our favor without action. You have to take daily steps of action in order for this to move forward. You can't just wish things into existence, right? Things will not manifest overnight just because somebody wants it to. You have to put forth the action in order for it to become so, which is like, calling your state representatives, engaging with all of the advocacy and policymakers, across the country, educating your community on what this means to our public health, right? And our freedoms, not to mention, right? I mean, freedom, hello, right? And then just figuring out a creative solution and how to make that go forward. So I hope that this reading has brought you a little bit of clarity, insight, and answers and peace within, as it's helped me a little bit too. And if you have questions about, what this hemp ban is all about, I implore you to go look up, articles and follow reputable media companies from within the industry, people like High Times, people like the Beard Bros, magazines like Fat Nugs, and, follow the stories, follow the articles, follow the information, that really, really smart, educated people that have been in the industry for a very long time, policymakers, advocates and educators, they all are chiming into this and they all have really great perspectives and information. So just educate yourselves and understand that, it was a low blow to what they're doing and trying to use this as leverage for an even bigger long game. And that, the cannabis industry very easily could be next. And so as we, fight the good fight and have to, go back to the drawing board, it seems, we still have a very bright future and a positive outcome. We just have to work together and make sure that, we're fighting for our justice. So that's where I'm going to leave this at. If this brought you clarity, insight, and answers, please make sure to drop a comment in the comments below, like, share, subscribe to the Cannastrologer, and I will see you on the flip side. Peace.